Got her. Get me. Oh, got him. Are you guys kidding me? Got him. Got him. Oh my gosh, this fish is huge. Right place, right time, right lure. Let's go.
What is going on, Getaway fam? Kay from the Getaway, and today I'm going to be talking about trout. There are a few things that I like to carry with me at all times when I go fishing. We're going to be talking about 3 different lures within trout fishing. I know that trout season's right around the corner, guys, and everyone's getting ready. They're buying their lure, they're buying their line, they're buying their rods. I'm not really going to talk about gear too much as far as reels and rods. I'm just going to be straight to it and talking about 3 different lures that I love using when I'm trout fishing and that absolutely have the best batting ratio for me. And by best batting ratio, I mean they always hit. They usually always hit. And then at the end of this video, I'm gonna throw in something that's, you know, isn't necessarily a lure, but something that I always keep with me just in case the going gets rough, guys. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe. 3 different lures that trout absolutely love. A couple of different things when it comes to fishing. I'm gonna start with the line. And I'm gonna glance over it real quick. The line for these lures that I'm using has to be around 2 to 6 pounds. 6 just being that the most, and 2 just being the least is perfect. 4 right in the middle, sweet spot. That's what I personally use when I go fishing for trout. I'm talking Sierra Nevadas, local. It doesn't matter. Usually 4 pound can get me anywhere, perfectly fine. Get me any fish I need, perfectly fine. Get me around the lake, perfectly fine. No issues. Best lures I feel like that you can use for trout fishing. Spinner. The spinner doesn't really require any hand motion, anything crazy, nothing. It's honestly just a cast, just retrieve. That's it. I usually keep my rod down instead of high up, depending on, you know, the grass level. Sometimes I do have to keep the rod up just so it stays up higher and doesn't touch any of the grass and the trebles don't get caught in that grass. But usually, rod tip down, it's a very noticeable bite. It's honestly the most noticeable bite. It's very easy. You'll know when you get bit on a spinner. There are rooster tails, there's panther martin, and there are other types of spinners. There are so many. Simple spinners. They have sometimes a copper blade, sometimes they have a, you know, a silver blade. This one has a gold blade. This one right over here is probably one of the most common colorways I've seen. I mean, I'm talking from where I live all the way to different states. It doesn't matter where it is. This color right here gets the job done. Yellow and black, imitating like a bumblebee. Even though it swims through the water, it's not necessarily supposed to be a fish. And this isn't necessarily supposed to be a bee at the same time, just because that's the pattern, you know, and it's supposed to be imitating the bee. It's kind of like this is going to be a bee pattern, but when it's in that water, it's not only going to be the bee pattern that gets the fish, but it's the way it moves through the water. So one thing I love about spinners is that they just are consistent. There's no real stop motion. There's no jigging motion, just perfect flow. And the work is done right here. Like when I said you guys don't really have to do anything, this is doing all the work for you. The beauty of the spinners are when that blade is spinning around and it's creating that vibration in the water. When that sun hits it, it's getting that flicker each and every time that sun hits it, and it just rotates. Really, really good lures. They have different types of shapes and sizes. These are panther martin. This guy right here, this is another type of spinner. Simple. This is just kind of imitating a little bait fish. Really small, but just enough weight with that 4 pound, the 2 pound, even the 6, just to get it out there enough to where these fish, these stock trout, they're gonna hit something like that. They're gonna hit something like that. Someone's gonna take an opportunity on that for sure. Those spinners right there are some of the most common ones. Like I said, there are other types out there, but the purpose of them, they're really easy to use. This blade does most of the work for you, and I mean, trout love them. I've even caught bass off them, caught bluegill. And that's the cool thing about the spinners. You know, like when you use a certain type of bait, it kind of, if you use catfish bait, it's going to catch catfish. You know, you're not going to catch really a trout off a catfish bait. The beauty off of the spinner is that you do catch a few different species. You could catch them bluegills, you could catch these bass. That's when I first started catching bass, actually, when I was using the spinner. Super easy bait to use, super cheap too. You can find these at Walmart for like $3, $2. Rooster tails, panther martins, those are good ones to start with. There are tons of others though, I'm sure that I'm missing, but that's a good start with it. Second in the list of lures that you absolutely have to have, that I absolutely always have, spoons. This is actually one of my favorite. I love using spoons. Out of all three, I love using a spoon. I found the most success. I feel like spoons are usually, the way that they're made, the paint on the spoons nowadays, I just love them. The single hook on most of the spoons, the custom spoons, small, different sizes. I just love spoons for some reason. These ones are gonna look a certain way because I actually use them, guys. I'm not here just trying to fake you guys out. So check these out. These right here are Thomas Buoyant spoons. This is one of my favorite ones. This is just gold and amber color. There's a couple others. This one's another one, this watermelon color. And the way that these get fished, I feel like it's a tad slower than a rooster tail or a spinner. I feel like with a rooster tail and a spinner, you have to go just fast enough to make that blade start spinning. And if you go too slow, it's just gonna wobble through the water. With these, a little slower. And what you get is this almost sudden fall effect. It just looks like it's fluttering back and forth like this. These things crush it in the most pressured situations. These right over here, they're small, perfect for trout to bite on. There's a couple of different sizes with this. This one right here is going to be the Thomas Buoyant, aka Tommy B. That right there is going to be one type of spoon. There's another very common type of spoon, the Castmaster. Castmaster. You can never go wrong with a Castmaster, and once again, I love these lures because they mostly do all the work for you. There's no fancy tricks or nothing with the wrist. They do all the work for you. You just got to have the right pace with these. I remember I was fishing with my pops, and he was fishing his Castmaster really quick, and he was twitching it and stuff like that. I'm not going to say that twitching doesn't work, but especially in certain situations where the fish are very finicky, like trout, I don't think it's going to work the best. So I tried his rod and I tried the lure he was using, which was a Castmaster. Didn't do any twitching, any jerking. I just slowed it down, slow pause, and you just see this thing just start going in the water. It was beautiful. I think he ended up getting bit 2 times. He didn't get a fish on it, but the small adjustment and just how you fish these things make the biggest difference, guys. So Castmaster, once again, and they have, I think, honestly, one of the best rainbow trout patterns. This one is so good. That pink and that blue with that white, they collide so well together. And another spoon that I want to mention that I love because it's kind of in the middle of a Thomas Buoyant and it's in the middle of a Castmaster. I feel like this one's directly in the middle. A Castmaster, the way it swims is kind of like this, and the Thomas Buoyant kind of tumbles, right? Then you got these right over here. And mind you guys, there's tons of different spoons, but I'm just going to touch on a few of them, just glance over these things. This is called the Mook right over here. This is a Sierra Nevadas based spoon, and they crush. Not only Sierra Nevadas, I've caught bass off of these too. These are really good lures because they got a couple of different things that I like about them, right? Not only do they, I feel like they have that same kind of movement like a Castmaster, but not exactly like a Castmaster. It sometimes can tumble on itself and then it shapes back out, you know, and I love that. It's not one or the other. It's kind of in the middle. But the best thing about it, I think, is it has these little clinkers right here. It's a very light sound. But when that's moving through the water, it's making that almost like a dog chain sound. Fish love it. Fish love it. So not only is it making a certain type of movement through the water, it's making noises as it's going through the water. So this is a very, very useful bait right here, guys. These are actually one of our sponsors. Proud to say. These things damage. Finally, guys, I just want to touch on this last one. This is probably one of the most tried and true lures, probably one of the best that you could use when trout fishing. And I recently got into this a lot more. I used to not like it at all. I didn't enjoy looking at people do this type of fishing. Jig fishing, guys. Yes, we know it. We know it. We know it. We've seen those guys. We've seen those guys just for hours doing this, just moving up and down. I used to irritate me. Then I got a jig that worked. Okay, there's so many jigs, guys. I don't want to talk all day about all the different types of jigs and everything like that. There's so many different sizes, colors, companies. I'm not here for that. I'm here to list the 3 main lures you need. I started off with a spinner. We went to spoons. We're in jigs now, guys. You need to get some jigs. Jigs. I'm gonna start with a couple, especially this color right here. I don't wanna, show y'all too much of the sauce, but guys, these right over here are dangerous. They're called the atomic teasers. There's different ways to fish these. I don't want to take too long. Like I said, I like either throwing this, if they're very close to the shore, I like throwing it by himself without even a weight. If they're further out, something I picked up on last season trout fishing is bobber with a jig. Dangerous combo. And you could use a bobber like this. You can use a bobber like this, water bobber. Really? They'll both get the job done. Guarantee it. You just leave enough leader, about maybe a foot, 2, depending on the depth. Crazy combo, gets it out there further. Don't feel the bite as well as you would without the bobber, but the bite is there. There's these right over here. Another type, power bait jig. These are like 2 inches. I usually go 2 inches the most when it comes to trout. Nothing over 2 inches. 2-inch simple power bait jig. I throw on a little jig head on this guy right over here. I believe a 1/16 ounce. That's perfect right there. I got so many different kinds, honestly. There's these. That one's a little bent out of shape. Okay, some people have luck with those. These are mini jigs. Really, really tiny, small jigs, guys. Those are the ones that I usually pair with bobber if I'm, if it's super overpressure and it's a tough bite and they're just going to hit on something that is this big. But I need that lure to get a little further, it's a little too windy or something like that. Perfect to pair those up with the bobber. Not all jigs I pair with bobber. Whenever I'm using a jig head, that's it. I don't ever put the bobber with it. The only time I put a bobber with that jig is when they're just a little too small. But those are some really good jigs right there. Like I said, there's tons of other jigs. One other thing I did want to talk about, guys, that I keep with me at all times, just in case the going gets rough. It's a little extra additive. Got to keep this in the bag. Scent, guys. Scent. Okay. One thing I keep with me just in case. Scent. Trout love scent, and they don't just love any scent. They love some stinky scent. I don't even want to open it, but I'm gonna do it just for you guys. I know I'm gonna have to light a candle in here. This is crazy. This is some power bait scent right here. I'm using it. If it's at the bottom and it looks like this, worn and torn, I'm actually using this stuff, guys. Power bait, trout dip. This is the garlic. Garlic is always kind of one of my favorite. They have the corn one too, or the corn works really good. Another little bait that I like using. This thing's a crusher. Richardson's trout sauce. That stuff right there gets the job done. Trout season's right around the corner, guys. I'm telling you, you pair some of these scents with these lures that I'm talking about right here. Done deal. Batting average goes way up, guys. I guarantee, if you're trying to get into lure fishing and trout fishing, and you want to try other things, you're just getting into it, I'm telling you, spinner, spoon, jig, you keep those 3 with you in your tackle box. And I'm talking about, a couple of these Panther Martins, couple trusted, companies, and a couple of little experimental lures in there. You should be able to get the job done, guys. And I do want to show you exactly kind of a little bit what I'm using when I'm out there too, when I'm throwing this stuff out there. This is going to be a Akuma SST, and this is going to be I believe a 7 foot, 7 foot, just ultra light rod, perfect for me, paired with another Akuma reel. This is going to be their OD green, just another really light rod, just for trout fishing. I do use it for bass fishing too when it's really overpressure and this thing gets bodies. paired with the 4-pound line. The line that I'm using usually, guys, too, is gonna be this Seeger. This brand right here and this model, Basics. I always find it at like a Big Five or Walmart, super cheap. Always gets the job done, no matter what. This is their 10-pound. I do got the 4 around here. It's right over there. I don't want to grab it. But 2, 4, 6, right there. That's where I cap off. Works perfectly with any of those lures that I just showed you. I know I didn't talk about the sizes and things like that, but everyone's lake is different, and I don't want to say this size works better than the other. I would just say these lures in general work best. Just in general, they are the best working lures. Get you guys some spinners if you don't have them. Rooster tails, Panther Martins. Get you guys some spoons if you don't have them. Tommy B's, the Mook. Get you guys some jigs if you don't have them. Talking about these atomic teasers, Bobby Garlands. Those right there, the 2-inch ones. They have glow-in-the-dark ones too. Deadly. Get you some scent. The scent, when it going gets rough, oh guys, it'll catch you some fish. I hope you guys enjoy the video. I know trout season's right around the corner. A lot of people are they're taking the dust off of a lot of their tackle boxes and things like that. So I just want to kind of get you guys ready if you want to try some different type of fishing. Throw some lures out there. Like I said, those 3. I'm pretty sure you're gonna get the job done. Like I said, guys, hit that like button, comment, subscribe. K from the Getaway. Appreciate you. Right place, right time, right lure. Let's go.